Good. Okay. Sorry I'm getting started late, guys. Craig and I were going over some stuff that we're going to talk about for the second half of this, and then we were like, oh man, it's late. So anyways, I just want to start really quick by introducing Seth. Seth is a tenant here, but he is a real estate attorney. And so he is available for hire. And just kind of wanted to give that quick introduction. Seth, if you want to just say a little bit about yourself yeah, introduce yourself a little bit. That sounds great.
Oh, sure. So I guess I got here because I got into investing in houses in Tacoma during the recession when I was out of law school. And then I was working at this law firm and started representing my friends, and that kind of became a full-time job, my real estate investing friends. So that's what I'm doing now. And I guess what I do is I get a lot of referrals from real estate agents that find issues you wouldn't even think of necessarily, 11th hour issues sometimes. And I think I've got forms and I've seen most of these movies before, so if you do run into something, I'm available. And okay, I guess that's an introduction to me, and a couple things that I don't necessarily do. I know this might be a popular request, is I don't try and help people save houses for a short sale. What happens there is sometimes the attorneys become adverse to maybe your interest as a real estate broker, and it's in their interest to declare bankruptcy and not go to market. So that's not something I do, and I can't pay referrals based on ethics laws that govern my practice. But other than that, I'm available.
So what I take from that is if you have a client who needs a real estate attorney for a title issue or to write up a contract with a tenant or whatever it may be, those are two examples I just pulled off the top of my head, you can correct me. Seth is a great referral, right? We're always looking for people who we can refer, who make us look good, because if they do a good job for our client, then that reflects well on us. So that's really the benefit of having Seth here is someone with experience who we can refer. Yes?
Can we get Seth's information so we
I was
can
just
add
about to say, yeah, what's the best way for someone to refer someone to you?
Oh, definitely my cell phone.
Okay, perfect. Do you mind just saying it out loud? The only people who will get this video will be our agents. So.
Yeah, sure. It's 253-225-0208.
Perfect. And we'll include that in our emails so that our agents have that and they can use that. Yes.
Seth's last name.
Oh, Goodstein. It's Goodstein. And I'll go out on a limb and say that I've seen so many of these issues that come up that you can text me during off hours, and maybe we can have an intelligent conversation, kind of whatever.
Like even us?
Oh yeah, everyone.
Usually don't put myself in that group.
So if you still have, I just want to be clear about one thing really quick. If you still have questions regarding contracts or a situation that you're in, the go-to contact is Craig, designated broker, or myself. If I don't know the answer, I'll get Craig involved. That's still your go-to contact for issues that come up. Seth is more if there's issues beyond that. If it's something related to the brokerage, we'll get Seth involved. But if it's a referral, it's a great opportunity to refer him to Seth. Or like Seth just offered, if you've got a question you want to run it by him, he just offered that's an opportunity as well. So.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks for stopping by, Seth. And if you want, you can stick around. Do you want a donut? Welcome to a donut. Or more. Okay. Well, we're gonna jump in. Robin, I'm actually going to push all my stuff towards the end. So is it okay, because I have to print out some handouts really quick? So I'm gonna go do that. Do you want to spend your time going over Canva and everything?
Okay.
Okay, that'd be perfect.
All
Okay,
right.
cool.
Hi guys. I'm really excited. We've got like 3 things that I'm going to cover today. So 1, Homekeeper and Facebook auto posting. So Homekeeper is a tool that we get through Realty One Group that you guys are able to give to your clients. You can put all of your trusted vendors in there, so like roofers, painters, electrical, whatever. But also your clients can keep tabs of their renovations in there. They can look up other like people that they would need to do home renovation stuff with. But what's cool for brokers is all of you guys every month get a blog that's branded to you. So it looks as if you wrote it even though you didn't have to do anything. It's great. So before, they would send it to your email, and we all know how emails go. They get lost in the sauce. It's fine. So now, since everyone has a Facebook pretty much, and most of you have Facebook business pages, you can actually have it auto-post to your business page for you. So it cannot post to your personal page. It will never post to your personal page. The rights it gets are read-only, so it can't get any of your major personal information. There's nothing to be scared of. But I gave you some directions. So there's two options. The first one is to have it go through and just send you a message with the blog, and then you can decide to post it from there or not. Or you can go all through the steps, and then it will just auto-post for you. Of course, it's your business page, so if they do a post that's like, I don't know, maybe like how to keep your beachside property looking great, and you're like, I don't ever do waterfront stuff, I'm not gonna post that, you just go to your page and delete it. So it's really low stakes, but I think it's a good way of showing content. If you like, you always have the option of posting it to your website as well, but I think it's a good way to keep your Facebook business page from getting stagnant. Of course, keep in mind when they post for you, they're not gonna write any copy like above it, so you can go through and edit and say, make it sound like you. So if it just posts the blog, you can say like, I've got years of experience working with brick, like reach out to me if you have any questions or something. So it's unbelievably easy. The recap email I'm gonna send today has a video on how to do it, but these are step-by-step instructions and easy cheese. So that's it for that, super quick and easy. Now, I want to talk about Canva. So, Canva is a website, it's like Canvas, but without the S. If you guys create free accounts, I am able to send you whatever I design, and then you're welcome to tweak it. So, for example, Rhonda's been sort of our guinea pig in this. I've been sending Rhonda designs, having her tweak them. It's awesome. So, when you pay for your account, you're able to upload your logos, it'll have your brand colors right offhand for you, and you'll have all of your fonts loaded, but it is like $10 to $12 a month depending on the plan you get, and I understand that that's an extra fee that maybe you guys don't want to spend, so you don't have to. You just choose what you want from me, I send you the file in Canva so you can share it, and then you're able to go in there and do whatever you please to it. The fonts are already in there, you can duplicate them, you can move them around, it's great. So let's get into that. So anything that you see that I have designed on here, first of all, anything that we post for Realty One Group Turnkey Brokers is yours to repost. You don't have to give me credit. Like, you don't have to share it from the brokerage page. You can pretend that it's content that you made yourself. I have no problem with that. But let's say, for TJ, I made this yesterday because he's got this new listing. Go through, and I want it to be kind of like a little tour of the house. But like, if you like this, or you have a property that you think wants that many photos, I can share that with you. Move Easy is something that all of our Realty One Group turnkey brokers offer to their clients. It's literally one-on-one automated concierge for moving for your clients. So they have the option of enrolling in it. You give them a free invitation. It automatically happens at closing. And then if they do decide to enroll, someone will literally call them and help them move their utilities, change their address, change their driver's license. It's amazing. But a lot of our clients don't know that, so it could be a great way to drum up business. So we put Rhonda in there. I can share that with you. You can pop your photo in, and it's so easy. So if you go through and see anything you like, let's say this design isn't your cup of tea, you like something a little bit different, like, I don't know, like this one instead, just sort of let me know. You can say like, hey, I saw Kathleen thing on Instagram, I really like that template, can you send it to me? And I can. So Canva itself looks like this when you log in. For you guys over here, there's gonna be this folder, And when you go in there, you can go to shared with you. And then this is where the designs that I send you will show up. So that's where you would save them to your account, and then they'll show up on your home tab. And I'll send out directions step by step on how to do this too. But, so let's say, of course Isaac's computer doesn't want to work with me now.
The internet here is a little tougher.
No, it's because the mouse is roughly the size of a cookie crumb. I lost where I was.
Oh, yeah, you're looking on this phone.
Okay, it won't let me scroll for some reason, so we're gonna do this one. So for me, all I do, I made this for Craig yesterday, so I'll hit make a copy. And what's great about Canva is it's similar to like the Google Suites, where if you close it, or let's say thunder and lightning turns off your computer, all your designs are saved like every 30 seconds, so you're not gonna lose anything. So let's go in here. So I made a copy. So I can close this bad boy. And then over here, so this is really, really similar to MS Publisher. I don't know if any of you guys used Microsoft Publisher. It's very like cookie cutter. The only thing to be worried about is like layers, I think, are maybe the only tricky thing. It's easy to make stuff go behind other things and then it's hard to bring it forward. Other than that, this should be really easy to use. So what I like about Canva is even for free, you guys will have all these different photos that you can use. There's tons of stock photos. They've got templates you can use if you get the paid version. And all of this is able to be your design. So let's say, here, I'll make a new page. So let's say I want to do, I don't know, something about moving. So I'll write moving. Okay, so you can see with the little dollar sign, it'll show you what pictures you have to pay for. They're usually about $1 a piece, which I don't think is too bad for stock photos. But you can go in here, and then you can frame these. It gives you the guidelines, which are really great, so it makes designing really easy. So you can see exactly where the center lines are, etc. You can zoom in on the photos and make them your full screen if you want. You can move them around. So let's say we stick that bad boy there. And then over here, you can change your uploads, your backgrounds, and the text. So since I have the paid account, you'll see all I do is just click this and it brings that Freeland font up here. I've also got the Museo Sans and the smaller fonts for Museo Sans, the lighter weights. And then if I don't like it, I can just delete it. It's super easy. So let's say if you go to our Instagram page, you'll see that we have like the one crest pretty much on all of our posts. Just because, I don't want people reposting our stuff or copying our templates. It's sort of like our watermark. It's our logo. But, so if I go over here to uploads, you'll see all the pictures I've uploaded. So this is something that is kind of annoying compared to Publisher, is this holds all of your photos like a bucket. So you can fill up your account really easy. So periodically I like to go through and I'm like, yeah, that house sold. I don't need that picture, and I can delete it. Let's go down. And let's say we want to stick the Realty One Group crest on it. And I don't want the Realty One Group turnkey part, I just want the one. So you can see I've clicked on the photo, it's already on here, so I can add filters, which please don't ever do to the logo, but you can adjust it, crop it. So I usually crop it. Okay, and then over here in Elements, this is cool too. They have all sorts of stickers and ways that you can like make your graphics look a little bit more interesting, including like designs that move, etc. Just keep in mind those will download as video files, which is annoying sometimes. But you can change your colors in here. Since I have the paid account, it's going to show all of our brand colors. So it's got the gold, which is the exact gold, the exact black, the exact white. This, when I share it with you, will already have the colors picked out, so you won't have to do anything with that. But since the one is transparent, what I like to do is make a little circle that I put behind it, sort of invisibly, sort of like a slip under a dress, I guess. It's from Modesty's CINC. And then just put that on top, so you can see that it's barely blocked. So up here, I can duplicate, I can position, and this is where you can bring stuff forward, align stuff, etc. But bam, that way you can't see through the one anymore. You're able to group these things to make them stay together. It's so easy, it's so amazing. So anything that you guys see that you would like to try out, I'm happy to send to you. And then if there's anything, let's say, we go back up here. And you're like, okay, well, although he's lovely, I'm not Craig Tull. So let's just delete Craig. You go to your upload. So this is where you would upload your headshot or something. So let's stick little Rhonda in there. Shows up huge. Shrinky dinky down. And then you'll see the guidelines that'll show you that it's in line with everything else in your design, which is cool. And then you just click, edit. And then if you need to resize, this part's a little bit confusing. If you hit the arrows, you can shrink stuff down and bring it up, and you'll see at the top you can watch the fonts change. Sometimes that's a little bit tedious, so you're always able to go up here and numerically change it to what you want if you want to keep like the same size and you accidentally blew it up or something. But any questions so far? But yeah, so anything pretty much you guys can dream of, if it's something that I can recreate for other people in the brokerage, I can make it for you on the clock. If it's something that you want specifically, like you've got an idea, you really want to make like a whole bunch of designs, you want to run with it, if you want them to be exclusive to you, I will have to do them off the clock, but pretty much if you dream it, I can make it. And it's super easy with Canva. So let's say you don't like this property in the house as the background. You can upload whatever property picture you want and stick it in the back and keep everything else the same. Like, this is a really, really easy tool to create all sorts of media. What I really like about Canva as well is everything is pretty much pre-sized for you. So let's say posters are 8.5 by 11, Instagram is the pixel size you want. Got business cards, blog banners, which are gonna be like Facebook event size pages, Facebook cover pages, postcards, etc. And I am more than happy to send you anything we currently have. So if you message me and say like, you know, I wanna start posting something consistently every week, I've got a bunch of these real estate defined things that I can share with you. Or let's say, like we've got a postcard from Hannah, and let's say you like this, you want to switch it, but maybe you think that the more than asking price part is tacky, you can just delete all that, and all of this will still stay. It's super, super easy. Okay, so that's sort of my brief overview of Canva. Do you guys feel like overwhelmed? Do you feel like excited? Yeah?
Yeah, it's like pretty simple, straightforward.
It's really simple and straightforward. And I think a big thing is everyone's worried that they're like gonna break the design or mess it up. It's still shared with me. So if you wanna get in there and then play with it, and then you're like, Robin, I don't know if it looks right. Will you look at it and then tweak it for me? You just tell me, and then I will do that for you, and I don't even have to send it back and forth, because it's a shared file.
And then you download it, you just do your account through like Facebook or?
So when you the Canva account, you can sign up through Facebook if you want. But what happens is, let's say you click these little buttons, so you can download it, and then it'll give you options on how to download it. So you can download it as a JPEG, a PNG, PDF, etc. And then you can also, if you ask me, I can do like transparent backgrounds, etc. So then what you do, like if you want to take a Canva design and post it to your Instagram, you would have to download it to your computer, or if you have the Canva app on your phone, you can just download it to your phone and then re-upload it into Instagram. So it's not gonna go straight to Facebook for you, it's not gonna go straight to Instagram for you. It's like making something in Publisher. You're gonna have to download it as a document, as a JPEG, as a PNG, and then upload it to Facebook and upload it to Instagram from there. Hello.
Hello, sorry. It's
So-
a tight room today, so I'm standing.
I feel like we went over Canva pretty okay. It was pretty fast, but I think you guys sort of saw where you need to see. So you want to move on to CINC?
Yeah, do you want to briefly summarize that? Just really quick on Canva. I'm so sorry if I missed this, but did you remind people that obviously if you want one-on-one time with Robin, just schedule it with her. Like we're not saying so now do all your own marketing. That's what we pay Robin to do. She's our agent resource specialist. She's here as a service to you. And if you want to schedule time, 30-minute slots to meet with her and help her and have her help you design something, that's what she's here for. You just have to ask and you just have to schedule it.
She mentioned something of that nature and then said something about off the clock, so probably need to clarify that.
Okay,
Okay.
so if you have an idea for a design, I can design it for you on the clock as long as you're fine with me sharing that design with our other brokers and them replicating it. If it's something that you want to keep exclusively to you, like your branded content, that's fine, but I will have to do that off the clock. But for all of our Realty One Group brokers, I created this Realty One Group Robin page, basically. So what you can do is you can go on here and it'll have a list of services that I offer. So like basic Facebook training or Instagram marketing training or basic design. So this would be something where I would sit with you and we would design whatever you want on Canva step by step. So as long as you're doing it with me, we can do this together. So all you have to do is go to this page and then you can click whatever time slot on whatever date works for you for whatever class one-on-one you want to take. And then it goes through to my calendar and then you're booked.
And again,
Super
on
easy.
those time slots, that's all included. That's all, part of being a part of this brokerage. That's just that we can make sure that we time block it for you. And when you say you're going to be there at 11:30, Robin says she's going to be there at 11:30. We respect each other's time. So that's what this is there for. So perfect. Thanks, Robin. If you want to move on to CINC, we're going to briefly cover CINC today. I'll get up here.
I'll just give Robin some accolades. Rockin' Robin, I call her. She's been doing really good at all of this stuff. This is the best we've ever had in our history as far as social media and digital content and advertising. She's really good at it. So you can see that already, but I just want to say good job.
Thank
Way to go,
you.
Robin.
Yeah, and I'm so proud of you guys and everything you do. So like if you get a new listing, if you get a pending property, if you go do charity work, if you, I'm so happy to promote you guys. Just tell me what you're up to. Send me a picture. We'll make it posted. Okay. So, also if you want to book time with me, there's a link in my email signature that will take you to that page, so it's easy to find. So CINC. So on, is it Wednesday? Wednesday, Isaac and I went to a Realty One Group training that came from corporate on how to do CINC. Let's do company admin.
And Rhonda. And who else is there?
So, I was gonna just get into the morning training. So it was two separate trainings. So the morning was for broker owners, and then the afternoon was for brokers only. So as far as CINC goes, to be perfectly honest, I was a little bit overwhelmed when corporate said it was a 5-hour training. It's like, what? How are you gonna make me learn about a website for 5 hours? It's just a website, it can't be that in depth. Totally wrong. Isaac and I were slack-jawed at everything that this is capable of. I thought CINC was just gonna be like agent websites in a CRM, and it's a lot more than that. And I totally understand why it took 5 hours to get through. So
It could probably take 48 hours if they wanted to give it to you.
it really could. So what Isaac and I want to do, instead of having us go into this really deep, like, you know, I just did with Canva, sort of whoosh through it, this is really important for you guys. We want to make sure that you guys are able to swallow this in manageable bites. So we're gonna set up trainings like probably once a week, like maybe even in the evenings. We're trying to decide what times work best for people, but so we can help you guys set up your sync and go through step by step. So we would start with how to log in, how to upload your contacts, how to pull marketing reports, how to get Move Easy set up, etc.
So I also stop for a second and say, this is included, right?
Yeah, this is
And
incredible.
I wanna tell you that in, you know, my career of 20 years, some of us can relate to that, some can't, but I have been through every type of tool and personal, professional training that there is to organize what you do in your service. This is a relationship business, it's about service, and in order to manage it, it's taken from the dinosaur days of writing it all down to spreadsheets to different types of phones, etc. This is dynamite. And we were paying $2,000 a month for this prior because really one group had in every state these relationships, but they couldn't do anything in Washington because one of the brokerages here already had a relationship with MoxieWorks, we're not using anymore, that was a contact management. And so that we were frustrated that we got out of this franchise. We knew there'd be some bumps and nothing would be exactly like they said, and we still love the franchise, but we're disappointed because that CRM, this most important tool that we use to manage our business, wasn't available. So don't take this for granted. It's $2,000 a month, literally, that we were paying for this prior. And it's yours to use. So I want to emphasize that this is an incredible value.
So what we had before was kind of CINC. This is called CINC Enterprise. So this is available to all Realty One Group brokers in the Pacific Northwest, nowhere else. So the rest of the country for Realty One Group agencies, MoxieWorks. MoxieWorks just doesn't cooperate with our multiple, and it doesn't work super well in the Northwest. And it was pretty cookie cutter. We were sort of limited to what we could do with it. And this is like leaps and bounds beyond what
It's pretty incredible.
MoxieWorks gave us the capabilities to do.
And I'm not sure if you know that they're actually terminating their agreement with MoxieWorks, and this is going to be launched for all Realty One Group internationally. So
I did
eventually,
not know that, but
yeah. So right now it's just the Northwest. So we're the first ones to use it, but we're one of 6 brokerages that CINC has a partnership with. 6 companies, I should say, that CINC
Maybe we
Enterprise.
should be a little bit proud of the fact that we were using it prior to they doing it.
I am a little proud of that.
Yeah, it might have.
So it is when I talked with everyone here before they whether you transferred from Turnkey Real Estate or if you came on from another brokerage, I said I don't want to overwhelm you when I show you our tools page because there's so many tools and there's no way you can this week get going on all of them, right? So just pick a few. It's kind of how CINC is, and that's what Robin was alluding to is if you were to go on to CINC right now, which you all have access to right now, it would be overwhelming. It is overwhelming. So what we're going to be launching starting this Tuesday, we're going to be launching Tech Tuesday, and right now it's going to be solely focused on CINC. The first few ones are going to be setting up your agent website, which is already set up, but adding things like adding a blog page. If you're not interested in that, then you don't have to come to that Tech Tuesday. If you are, you come and we'll sit down we'll do a recorded video showing how to do it, and then we'll sit down with you and help you do it. We won't leave until it's all set up for you. You know, we'll show you how to do favorite searches, how to add videos on your website, and we're gonna have whole 4:30 to 5:30 Tuesday nights. We're gonna do this, and there's gonna be a video recording. So if you can't make it, you can watch the video. But if you show up, we'll sit down with you right then, and we'll make sure we
So
don't
make
leave.
it tape type of thing?
Yep.
That's okay.
Yep, exactly. So if you show up, we'll make sure that you leave with whatever the subject is that day. You leave with that on your website. So
So not to I'm gonna contradict myself. Once upon a time, a few months ago even, when we had MoxieWorks, I would tell you guys, it's important for you to fill out your website fully, and then you can just leave it. Like, people aren't gonna really go to it, people aren't gonna really use it to search for things, and that was because the search was limited, it was sort of janky, like, I didn't think it was worth your guys' time and energy to pour value into your website. However, since CINC is not just your website, it's so much more, I think this is a worthwhile investment of your time and energy. And it matters enough to me that I will be staying late to help you guys do this one-on-one training because it matters that much.
Yeah, it's a pretty incredible tool. So don't.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I attended thinking it's just gonna be website, blah, blah, blah. It's like top producer on steroids. It, not only do you have a drip campaign, but there's reports that you can send to your clients, that are phenomenal, and it's branded to you. There's listing alerts. So what they taught us is basically you could set up a search for your clients in your website. So instead of going to the MLS and having your client go to the portal, it goes straight to your website. So you're always rebranding, you know, always keeping you top of mind. But then you can, there's analytics behind everything where you can watch what they do. Like what home they click on and how many photos they looked at, and I mean there's just so much data that really it makes you now in charge. It's like you are behind the scenes watching them get excited about different homes. You can have reports sent to them if they're thinking of selling, like a neighborhood watch type of report sent on a monthly basis. It's like above and beyond anything I've ever seen. And you know, at first I thought, okay, I'm just gonna figure out my website and let it roll, like Robin said, but this is so much more. And if you can take advantage of just even a quarter of it, I think it would really increase your business.
I'll geek out for 1 second. One's super cool. So not only is it for your past clients and your current clients, but it's also for lead acquisition. So you can make landing pages. Like you said, you could put a landing page around the historic district. Let's use that as an example because we're in the historic district, right? Divisions, Steel, 21st and 6th Ave. You can make that and then post that link on Facebook and pay to advertise to homeowners in that area, which we can have a class on that. It's really easy. We're talking like $20 on Facebook and run a 3-day ad. And anyone who clicks on it, it'll capture the lead. It'll make them say, okay, perfect. You click on that listing to continue, you know, putting your information. And then it'll tell you, you know, if they keep looking, you know, if someone just clicked on one picture and then went out, maybe they're not worth it. But if somebody clicks and then clicks and clicks and clicks, they're probably worth a call, right? And they're worth putting into your drip campaign. It's one example. There's tons of things like that you can do. It's just really deep. And like Craig said, I mean, brokers are paying hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month for programs like this, and it's included. So it's awesome.
So just to get started, I want to just show you guys how to log in and where to find CINC. So you guys know about the one login. This is the landing page. If you don't have the Chrome adapter, what is it called? The Chrome extension. There we go. Adapter extension. Sorry. Anyway, so you go to the one login, you put in your credentials, same as you would to go to Zone or whatever.
SkySlope. Yeah.
Or SkySlope. You guys know how to do this. So if you don't see it in your frequents, just click over here at Realty One Group. It'll show you all the tools that we get from corporate. And then all you do is click sync. And that'll bring you to this landing page.
This is just showing company or office because it's me. It's my login, so it's giving me 2 options there. But for you, it'll just log you right in.
Okay.
And if you want to nerd out right away, there are training videos right away. So you can definitely start going at it if you feel up for it. The training videos, I've actually seen most of them. They're pretty good. They actually help you through just about all of it. So
And like, I love Realty One Group. You guys know I've been a cheerleader for them for years. But one university training videos have been this Debbie DeGroat lady, and like, a little bit old. They're a little bit boring. I don't know. They smell like doilies to me. Like that's the feeling I get. You're just like,
She knows there's old people in here, right?
I
yeah.
don't see any. What are you
Not-
talking about, kid?
The funny thing is all the young people are going, doily?
Age is a number.
You're a
old
tweener.
is a state of mind for sure. So, what?
Oh, I'm old. I'm never-
But what I really, really like is the training videos aren't boring to watch, but what I really want to get into for you guys is contacts. So for Isaac and I, this is going to look different because we will see all of your contacts. We will not do anything to your contacts. We will be able to see them, we're not going to touch them. So if we go to contacts, leads. So let's see. So you see we've got all the contacts going in here, and you are able to edit them, you're able to go in here and group them into different groups. My big thing that I would really like to get from you guys is just you logging in and getting to this area. As soon as you can start feeling around the tabs, I think we'll be in good shape. For anyone,
You're basically going to put all this contact information, you'll see it later, there's a lot of fields you can put in. And once you get a bunch of contacts in there, you can put them into different groups
yes, so here for example,
for marketing.
How deep are we gonna get into that, Robin?
Yeah, I wouldn't go too deep. I think it's important to say what we just said is the depth of this thing is crazy.
well, because I want them
Get
to,
into the
I
marketing
wanna
part,
do a little
not
bit
the
of-
contact part like data fields, right?
I want to do some homework kind of for you guys. So for those of you that do want to start getting into CINC, I want you guys to get your, either get like a CSV or an Excel file of your contacts. If you have a previous CRM that you've been using, if you have that data backed up, we can upload that on here. But importing contacts, and then you can pick whether you do it from Outlook, from Gmail, from Excel, from a CSV file. So let's say we do it from Google, you can hit next, and that'll start pulling your leads for you.
And our first Tech Tuesday will be on importing contacts and some more, but that'll be our first one. And I just want to say, for people who've been in the business a while, I know the idea of like, oh yeah, just gather all my contacts, put them on Excel. Yeah, I'll have that done by tomorrow. That's like not going to happen.
That's what I'm telling you now.
Well, but perfect's the enemy of done. I always say that, and my point is like, don't feel like you have to have your perfect database all done by next Tuesday. But if you have, a list of your past 50 solds or whatever, just start with something. Just put some of them in there. Don't do nothing because it's not perfect. Does that make sense? Just start by I can show you, if you have an iPhone, how to download a CSV file from all your contacts on iCloud. Just start with that. Who cares? Maybe your grandma will get some
It allows you to deal with duplicates in there.
Yep. So, anyways, we'll talk about that starting next Tuesday, 4:30, 5:30. I'm also going to do put a poll kind of in our week. Rob and I will put like a poll in our weekly recap email. We're thinking 4:30, 5:30 to try some different times. If you have opinions on time of day for Tech Tuesday, maybe just reply to the email and let us know what you think. But right now we're going to move with 4:30, 5:30 and see if everyone's like, oh, it'd be much better if it was 5 to 6 or something, then we'll move it. We'll kind of go with the majority on that.
When you send out your email, can you give us an agenda of like this Tuesday is this and this Tuesday?
Yeah, great idea.
Because like I've already done all my, so I probably wouldn't come to that one because I've already done that.
Great idea.
By the
Yeah.
way, watching the video for doing your contacts,
Perfect.
it's perfect. If
Yeah.
I can do it, anybody can do it.
Okay.
It just, I stopped it a lot and rewind a lot, but I mean, I got through it. So
Yeah, but that's a great point. Like if you got something handled, and that this Tuesday we're covering contacts and whatever else we're gonna cover, we'll recap on that. Then yeah, just skip that one and come to the next one. So cool.
But I did also want to show you guys, so this is what Turnkey's new site looks like. It's pretty blank right now because we're rebuilding it, but this is why I really, really want headshots from everyone and broker bios. I understand it's hard to get a professional headshot. It doesn't necessarily have to be, staged at the park with the brick background, like that's fine, but like if you have something that's even,
These are all in our lobbies.
Yeah, these are done by Robin. For Arwen and Andrew were done by Robin in our lobby. Same brick background, and they look good. They look They are professional.
They
Sorry,
are.
they don't look professional. They are
I
professional.
was in the lobby too.
Yeah, exactly. No, so the point is, again, perfect the enemy have done. Don't feel like you have to go pay $200 for a professional photographer. If you want to do that, great. But right now, if you don't have a picture, let's go take a picture in the lobby. Because people go on our website and they look for an agent to
Yeah,
refer.
that
We don't
would
get
be
all referrals. Like the referrals
What
don't
a
just
great
come to the
photo.
office.
What happened to mine?
I think we.
I got one.
I think we sent your license in the
I got a
safe.
coin. Oh, there I am.
There was one earlier where you looked like gold member there.
Exactly. I was like,
Doesn't he kind of look like Chandler Bing
Yes.
a little bit in that picture?
I've been at
Like you used that-
Costco and people don't even know me and said that to me. Hey. Okay.
Looks like you used that Russian Facebook ad that put a couple of years on. Here's Chandler, and then here's what he looks like.
But- So,
I was just trying to get my grain card, you know. How much would you pay? But there is another one. I was just curious. So that's team title, and then there's a thing that says Craig title, and it has a gold.
so we're gonna
that's a
hide that.
brokerage
It's,
versus the.
the reason for
Right,
that
is it?
is because all of this comes from Zone. So if you,
Oh, I got 2 logins.
Mhm.
Okay.
So Craig has 2 logins as the DB and then also as the broker. So in here though, all of this should update every 2 days. So like Ken, I saw that it had your old photo, so I went into Zone, I updated the photo. Even though it's on here, within the next day or 2, it should switch over to that new picture. So it takes about a day or so for changes to be reflected, for them to push from Zone to CINC, but it will happen. So feel free to go to your profile, sort of check it, make sure it looks the way you want.
Just so you know, there's brokerages that have been changing hands up north. There's a few brokers on here. If you don't know them, that you probably don't know for a reason. They're up in King County and Snohomish, and they'll be transitioning to their own brokerage.
So even though that wasn't really on the agenda, I think we
No, but I
should
think
touch
people
on
should
that.
know because they're seeing this.
No, I
on the
agree.
site.
So, there were 5 Realty One Group offices, Realty One Group Preview and Realty One Group Eastside, that dissolved, that are no longer a part of the Realty One Group franchise. And there were a lot of brokers that were like, I still wanna be a part of Realty One. And so, it was a lot of work, but we brought them on here, sort of
Transition.
temporarily, just knowing that they're gonna get their footing under them. So Kevin Zelmer was in our office for a while. He's currently opening Realty One Group Enterprise in Bothell. The Fallman Group is going to be opening Realty One Group Orca in Marysville. If you guys wondered why I make so many whale jokes at them, it's because of that. But what's really great about that is, before, we had all these different one offices that we didn't really know about. Now, this is a part of the one family. So when the Fallman Group opens their office, when Kevin opens his office, let's say you have to go to Bothell to meet a client that they wanna buy a house in Tacoma, but it's just this one-off. Kevin and the Fallman Group, we all have an open office policy where if you're an agent with Realty One Group with us, you guys are welcome to go to their office and work for the day, use their supplies, hang out with them, say hello, same with them here. Like, it's a really great thing because anything that they've needed from us, we've been able to give. There's a lot of reciprocity, and that includes any sort of ideas as well. There's been a lot of great ideas that we've been sharing with even Realty One Group Cascadia down south, or Realty One Group Eclipse in Spokane. Like,
That was one of the reasons one of the main reasons too. There's lots of great reasons we joined Realty One franchise, but it was that collaboration, and it, in the beginning it was a little freaky for me to go 18 years of turnkey, doing my own thing, and is it really gonna be what they say it's gonna be? Are we gonna have this collaboration? And it is, and it's fun, and and they're there for you, and we help people just as much as they've helped us. They helped us in the beginning, and we're happy to reciprocate.
yeah, so just as brokers, so you guys know that the one family includes a lot of different realtors around the country.
And with that, we got to jump into this last part so that we don't go too late. But thank you, Robin, for all that. And excited to launch
Thanks,
CINC
Rob.
Tuesday starting next week. Do you and Craig want to switch seats?
Yeah.
I'll just say really quick.
Yes.
We're excited. We're revamping this conference room, getting new lights. That's well past due. Some new paint. It's gonna look really cool next office meeting in a month. So anyway, stay tuned for that. And it's gonna be set up a little more conducive, not so tight. So anyways, that's coming. Craig, do you want me to start? Okay, so I'm not sure if you guys have heard about this, but the Northwest MLS has a change coming October 1st. A lot of people are scared about it, and we're kind of here to put the rest of doom and gloom and just kind of shed some light on what's actually going on. So Northwest MLS is officially, as of October 1st, allowing a seller to say that they're going to pay zero to a buyer's agent.
So how many people heard that before this meeting?
I just read it.
A lot of
So,
times we go to our homepage and there's news on there and we flash through and we get to Matrix, right? Well, this is a pretty big deal as we come down the pipe, so.
so when you're looking at a home on the MLS, you can see, and it could say 0% to the buyer's agent. That could be really scary. You're like, okay, how am I going to get paid? So we're going to talk about how you can still get paid. The other change, just kind of a big change but doesn't affect things too much, is now IDX feeds from the Northwest MLS, meaning the Northwest MLS is where everybody lists all their listings, and then it feeds out to Redfin, Zillow, Trulia, etc. Those listings used to feed out, but not feed all the information. They still don't feed all the information. One of the things that they didn't include was the selling office commission. Now that will be candid on public websites. So Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, Realtor.com, they're all going to, when they have a listing, they're going to say what the selling office commission is. So it won't be a secret to your buyer, if they're at all savvy, how much you're making on a transaction. Do you want to elaborate on that one?
Let me let Isaac take back the control after I tell you some things. Is things changed, but really nothing changed. If you were in this business as someone who loved what you did with a passion to help somebody as a servant, then nothing's changed. I've always trained anybody that's been here is that we tell people, we educate them on how we get paid and how that if you're a selling broker or a listing broker. So to me, nothing's changed. Now, if we haven't talked about this before, then just know that it didn't happen all the time. Now what's different is this information about selling office commission is there out on the website. A member could be an appraiser, it could be Redfin, it could be really when we turn heat, John L. Scott. We're brokers. So members can publish the SOC now onto their website. They're not required to, they can opt not to. That's probably not going to happen because we know that technology changes things, and we know that Amazon might sell and Walmart might sell real estate. Anybody might start selling real estate someday, and they might want to publish it, right? So this is kind of that, move to that. We know Redfin, we know some of these other different outfits that are out there, and so it is different. Even though I said, well, it hasn't changed, it's the same. You're going to see more creative ways that sellers are going to try to go to market. We saw MLS for owners come back and come into the market back in the early 2000s and then roll through up to the recession, and then you get in a buyer's market, there's too much inventory, and you need a listing broker, you need someone that knows how to market the property, and that discount broker kind of fizzled away. Well, then it started to come back here again as it becomes too easy to sell a property. Everybody wants to be a listing broker, can sell quick. This FISBO mindset, sell by owner mindset, comes into play, and people are looking at Redfins and MLS for owners and all this. Bottom line, it's not going away. We keep on advancing in technology, and here we are with the ability to control the commissions down to zero. It used to be it had to be something. Okay, so that's what happened, but I'm telling you nothing's changed in the sense that you're going to tell people as a servant how you get paid. And continue to do that in service them. So I'm going to pass it back to Isaac, but I'm just going to tell you that when I read through all of this, there's a lot here, okay? But it tells you basically what the changes are. Then it says, here's the forms, and then here's some red lines on the forms as to how they change versus the last forms, okay? So it looks like a lot. And Isaac's going to hit the highlights, but I just want to say that as a broker, we're a servant. Number 2. Disclose your fee for service. This is how I get paid for a living. That hasn't changed. And if you say that, that's all that they're saying here. You should say how escrow gets paid and Pierce County excise tax gets paid. Okay? People need to understand how A settlement statement works from the point that they started working with you to go out to a house. You know, don't hide this information. Then service. Before, during, and after. Before, I'm out to lunch, Ron and I did BDA, before, during, and after with Joe Stump and Brian Maffini and those guys teach things. But before means drip on people here, do all this before you actually start showing them homes, right? During is, now I've started showing them homes, or I've started working with you on, okay, I think you should replace the carpet, this, and get ready to list to sell. I'm talking to that seller now. Buyer or seller, that's a during thing. Now during, I'm working on real estate with you. Before is dripping, right? After is continually dripping, touching base, asking for referrals, all that. That is being a service, just service them. So nothing's really changed, but it's gonna require you to, and I just pick back up here, but it's gonna require you, and I'm gonna finish here, is that you need to detail now more so why you get paid. I have a limited practice ability that I earned getting my real estate license and continuing education to fill in the forms on real estate contracts. And when I start to write them to anything past a couple of words, call Craig Tuttle. And if we get a little bit worried, we're gonna get a hold of Seth. Because we're not a lawyer, but we're definitely licensed to practice in a limited portion of law and real estate that the buyer and seller don't have. Monopoly doesn't work. I played Monopoly as a kid. I've seen someone else do it. My friend did it. You know, now we gotta detail why it is that we understand our experience, our competence, our knowing those forms front and backwards, and not just speaking lips. Know your stuff, and then you can pound into the consumer your value. Okay? We'll go on later in some other meetings, some tutorials, things. We're gonna create some drafts of things on how to sell this, because it really is gonna start to force this menu for service that we've all talked about for many years. Because we need to now detail out why, what is our value, okay?
Okay, so Craig just covered a lot and it pretty much hit home on most of what I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to kind of elaborate on a few things. So I don't want to spend time talking about how this is good or bad. It doesn't matter, it is what it is. I do want to say really quick, Craig said nothing really changes. He's kind of right. The fact is, before you had to pay at least 1 cent commission. Seriously, that was a rule. So now you can pay 0 instead of 1 cent. So what's changed? Really nothing, okay? Now, the fact that it's candid on all the public websites, that's a change. I don't think that's a bad change. I think it's a conversation starter. If you see a 1% selling off this commission, you can talk about it, and let's jump right into that. So what do you do? And this is our suggestion, right? One thing I love about Realty One Group is we're not a brokerage that cares about, let me rephrase, we do care that you get paid what you're worth, because we know that you're valuable as a broker, and we hope you don't devalue your services. But at the same time, you can work for whatever fees you want to work for. We don't require you to work for a minimum percentage, because our transaction fee is based off of the sales price. So you can do whatever you want to do. But this is what Craig and I would suggest you do when you encounter, eventually this is going to happen, a listing that your buyer wants to see and it says 1% commission, or 0, or 0.5%, or even 2%. And you're like, no, I'm worth 2.5%. So if you want to skip to, I don't have the pages all numbered.
See, we're saying nothing's changed, and it's kind of weird because there's a lot here. There's always been buyer's agency agreements, is our point. You know, so, and we are going to have a lot of things that stay the same. 2.5% commission will probably put out there plenty of times. But in the event that someone had put $25 or even nowadays 0, you should have a buyer's agency agreement. So they have those. I used to talk about them.
You're just stealing my content.
Right, but okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just kidding. So last 3 pages, you got selling the form 41C and the form 41A. I'm actually going to start with the 41A. We've all seen it, buyer's agency agreement, okay? If you need help filling this out, it's pretty simple, but there's 2 ways to fill it out. You can fill it out for a time period, meaning you can say, hey, if I'm going to represent you, I'm going to show you homes. I want a 1-year buyer's agency agreement. That means I'm entitled to a commission. If you receive a property from me and you end up buying that property without me, I'm still entitled to a commission. That's the purpose of buyer's agency agreement. Now, there's a lot of buyers out there, I think millennials in particular, we don't like to sign contracts, right? We don't like to sign things, that scares people away. So a lot of agents, including myself when I was more in sales, I didn't like using a buyer's agency agreement because when I'd go and meet a cold lead and show them a home, I didn't want to scare them away by saying, hey, can you sign this? I'm not sure if you've ever done that to a cold lead. They're like, I just met you, I'm not signing anything. So you don't have to use a buyer's agency agreement, but that's one way you can guarantee that you get paid, right? Now, another way you can guarantee you get paid is on a case by case. So let's use an actual example. It's 1% commission, and your buyer, you've been working with this buyer and they send it to you and they say they want to see it this afternoon. It's a great opportunity right then to remind them how you get paid and say, I want to sign a specific buyer's agency agreement for that property. Okay, so for 123 ABC Street, we're going to fill out a buyer's agency agreement, and if you look at section 3, it says area, you would just put the address there and indicate in section 8, compensation. I'm going to make a minimum 2.5% commission if my buyer buys this property. Okay, that's a way that you can guarantee that you still get paid what you're worth. And then if moving on to, let's say you go and write an offer, then you use the form 41C. And the 41C didn't used to be this in depth. They've added to it. So the sample has the stuff in gray. That's the new stuff. And so you would want to check either the first box or the second box. I'm not going to go too far in depth here. It's really pretty self-explanatory. But when you write the offer, you would just write in that the seller is going to pay you a commission of this. Even though the listing says 1%, you're saying seller is going to pay 2.5%. So it's really the same thing. Let's say the seller says that they're going to pay 0% commission. You sign a buyer's agency agreement that you're going to make 3% commission. Show the home, your buyer wants to write an offer. You write the offer at 309. You say the seller is going to pay you a 3% commission. It's all good. Obviously, we're still working in real estate where there are issues like, well, will it still appraise, right? The lender's not going to privately finance your commission, but they will finance a home. And if the home still appraises at 309, no problem. Seller might have an objection because now at 309 they're paying a little more in taxes, a little more actually in commission, right? There's a lot of little intricacies that could change. I'm doing my best to predict the future. I can't predict the future. Who knows exactly what's going to happen? But that's the workaround. That's our suggestion moving forward. If you see a 1% commission, which again there are going to be the bottom feeders who do, say, hey, I'll list your home for 1% and we'll do it 1% for the buyer's agent. Don't sell yourself short. These are the two forms you use, and make sure you're making at least your 2.5%, if not more. That's really the point.
So what's happened is that they've made commission now a negotiable item.
I would say
It's always
that's how it's always been. It's
No,
just
I-
kind
It was
of,
always negotiable up from where it was. If they paid you too little, you could have a buyer's agreement and go up. The difference is that seller does not have to pay, they can pay 0.
I mean, it just seems like lunacy to me.
I agree with you.
I've seen it in the past too, and we've done it a few times where, like, been like a 1% buyer's agent commission. I've worked with a buyer for 2 years, and like, I'm not doing 1%. So I'll write it before I wrote it into I think on the
22D or
20D
something.
other.
exactly.
By selling off commission to be 2.5%, 3%.
So don't use 22D anymore.
Yeah,
That's
so now
what I want to say here.
Yeah.
They have got a form
Yeah.
specifically for
There's
this.
usually a form for everything.
Yep. So and that's
Don't write more than a few
it's
words.
Ugly.
it could
Because I'm the buyer's agent and she's my buyer, and I say, okay, we got this house and you're gonna have to pay full price because it's kind of competitive right now. 300,000, but the commission's listed 1%, and I'm not gonna work for 1%. So now you're gonna have to get a loan for 305 or whatever the math is. So in other words, we have to jack the price up that you're gonna have to pay for the house to pay for your agent.
right. And so what I would say
That's
is
ugly.
it could be, but I want to say a few things. First off, nothing's changed. That's how it always was. I just think it might become a little more common because there are more discount brokerages. That's number one. Number two, anyone who's been on a listing appointment in the past 3 years has competed with Redfin. That's a fact. Now now you're doing it on the buyer side, okay? It's the same thing. When you're competing with Redfin, if you've ever done that on a listing appointment, you know that they're interviewing Redfin, what do you say? You get what you pay for, right? I mean, you say a lot more than that, but you say, let me explain why it's worth paying me 2.5% or 3% as opposed to paying Redfin 1%. You're tripping over a penny
But-
to get to a dime.
But let's, because there's a lot covered, let's address this though first. Walmart's price on the product that's on the shelf does not include the manufacturer price only. The cost of goods came by somebody touching it along the way. By the time it got there, it cost that much. Every time that there's a property sold, I don't care how long ago the very first property sold to the property that's sold in the last before some dinosaur eats us all, will include all sorts of fees to make up that price. Don't get caught up on commissions and go, oh, it is lunacy to do it this way. Every property that's sold, its value includes services. Our CMAs all include commissions, excise tax, yada, yada, yada. If it was a really good deal because they didn't use any real estate commissions, then an appraiser should dig into that and find out, oh, it didn't have the normal 99% of properties built-in cost to sell. The cost to sell is commissions, right? Difference is, loan costs, appraisers don't look at it that way. That's not a cost to the seller. That's not a cost to the end price. Most buyers should pay their own loan closing costs. When they're negotiated in, the appraisers do ask, and that's why the MLS has a field that says selling office commissions, yes or no, or concessions to loan cost, yes, 8,000. Now we can separate those out. We know exactly what the value of the property is. The value of the property included what? Commissions. A lot of them. A lot of commissions. You know, up to 5%. So don't ever think that these values out there never included commissions, regardless. So it's not lunacy. It's just which way are we going to work from it? We're going to work from it was here? Oh no, we're going to work from here, base. Now we're going to add to it. They're there. It's going to thin out. It's going to thin out the incompetent. That doesn't mean lack of experience. You could be very experienced in your first year, especially if you've been tutelage under me. Right? Just confident, not arrogant. I read the hell out of my forms. I study this business. I ask people what they want. I service them. I don't sell them. And by that, and all my experience, I've gotten pretty good at this, and I'm able to talk that. And it's not, I don't get caught up on this. This is going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy this, and I want you guys to all enjoy it because it's going to eliminate the competition, right? It's going to kick the week out because if there's really a fee for service and somebody can't explain what their worth is, guess what? They're going to get a whole lot less. And that's the way it should be. And you don't want to work with somebody. You get what you pay for in life. Always tell the seller, I want to be your second, third, whatever it is. I want to be the one that gets a commission. I don't want to be the one that gets canceled or expired on. Don't fire me for price just because I told you what I think your price should be and what you're going to sell at. And by the way, I'm always usually right. But I'd be happy to be wrong in a market where people pay too much for things, pay $50,000 over. I can't control that. But I can pretty much nail a price range. So don't get mad at me for that. We can go at a higher price, but let's just make sure, and Isaac and I did this down the street here, and then they wanted us to stage it at a price that we didn't think of. We said, no, we absolutely want to be whatever it is, second, third, fourth broker that comes along that actually sells the home. And we're
She's talking about like a neighbor of mine pretty much. They wanted to list their home about $75,000 more than we thought it was worth, and for us to stage it. And it's listed with someone else. We said no.
And there it sits.
And there it sits still. Yeah, obviously not saying anything more about that.
But be careful, don't
about
chase
the specific-
business
but
just to get activity.
But that's a really good, sorry, I know we have two questions, so I just want to say that's a really good point. Value yourself and don't be afraid to fire a cheap client. You don't want to work with, in my opinion, you don't want to work with them, right? If somebody is saying, well, I'll go to somebody who will work for 1%, fine.
Right, take it to a more complex level. Isaac asked me this role playing before we got here. He says, okay, your buyer doesn't have an agreement with you, they're millennial, they didn't want to sign it. But you're good friends with them and you go around with them and you show them a few homes. Now they want to see a home that's zero, SOC. And you say, look, I got to write this buyer's agreement here because I'm not getting any money. And they go, well, I really don't want to do that. What do? What do you do then? You go show them the home, you know, and think, well, I really don't know how I'm going to get paid. They say they'll take me to dinner, maybe they'll pay me outside. You can't get paid outside. All fees have to come through the brokers. Okay? That's fine. They could pay you after closing if you want to do a handshake with them. They're going to write a check to turnkey, and then we'll figure out how you get paid. That's not a very wise way to do it. Let them go by the power of push away. they'll come back.
Tell 'em go
Let them
find
go
it.
to the listing broker, let them go to the listing broker who is getting a commission on the listing side and getting the same as you would have got, 0. Tell them to, ask them to go work their tail off for 2 sides in a dual agency, way high litigious crap. Dual agency is another thing, we'll talk about it. Nobody's gonna wanna work for 0 commission on the selling side and dual agency. Let your friend go to them and try to call the sign and go see the house, see what happens. They'll come back, trust me. Don't chase. The power of push away is really good.
Okay, we gotta wrap up. Hannah, what question do you have?
Keep looking at you, sir.
I was gonna ask, that makes sense on the buyer side, but for the seller side, would you say that it makes, if I, as a 2.5% buying agent, and someone else who's willing to take 1%, and you're a seller, and you're like, okay, well, it's the same offer, but different commissions, does that make my offer for this home, representing my buyer, weaker
It
than
does.
someone?
Yeah, I mean, it does, because you'll have to factor it into the price, right? So if somebody else is like, yeah, I will work for 1%, and so I'm not going to inflate the price, or I'm going to inflate the price, but the commission isn't going to be higher, then yeah, that offer is better. And that's where you have to explain to your buyers, really quick, this is a great line when you're working with buyers. How many times have you worked with a buyer and lost a home over $2,000, or even $5,000? And it's like, man, we were so close. Net with interest rates as low as they are, do you know how much money $5,000 cost your buyer per month? $20. $20 per month. So a simple line is,
If that.
no, it's $20.
Oh,
Yeah, because $10,000 is $20.
$7 a month.
And India
So,
does.
so the point is, if you're saying, work my butt off for you, and I'm asking you to put an extra $6,000 on top of your offer, so I can still get paid what I'm worth, or whatever it is.
Or just so
And
you get
they're-
the house.
What?
Or so you can get the house.
So you can get the house, and I'm also gonna get paid, because you know I've worked my butt off for you.
And by the
If that
way,
buyer still doesn't wanna
by
do
the
it-
way, when it comes to building inspection and covering
Yeah.
your butt and getting your earnest money back, and you need to be on your side. That's
Right.
It really
priceless.
sounds like a lot of stuff isn't really that much different.
It's-
because
thank you. You're right.
it sounds like the biggest change is that the general public now sees.
You're exactly
And-
right.
But otherwise, everything was negotiated anyway.
You're exactly right.
And if you're a listing agent and I go and, hey, if you really want to sell the house and this is the particular market, it's like, this is what I think, this is what I'm going to make off for listing. But this is what I think you need to offer if somebody brings a buyer, just so the house gets shown, so that it
You're
sounds like a lot
absolutely
of things just really haven't changed. It's just that, okay, either my buyer, I'm gonna write something in that's, this is what I'm gonna make, whether we do it with an escalated offer, or whether you pay me. I mean, it sounds like things are kind of the same.
I completely agree. They're the same. I'm just speculating that there might be a little more lower selling off this
The
commission. I'm speculating.
same, but the starting point has changed dramatically.
Yeah,
The
well,
starting point has changed.
for you maybe, here's my starting point, and it always has been. I don't know if my buyer is gonna run into their neighbor that wants to sell their home to them, or sell by owner, or a listing that doesn't pay 2.5% commission. I don't know that. I just tell my buyers in the beginning that I don't care if it's MLS property or it's not even listed yet, you talk to your neighbor. I can represent you, and you're gonna want me to represent you, and I normally get paid somewhere around the 2.75% mark on the selling office commission, plus or minus, but usually never less than 2.5%. So just know that if the seller doesn't pay it, we're gonna build it into the price. Does that make sense? And then they go, yeah. So what's different? What's different? I said the same thing
What's
then.
different
You
is-
say the same thing now. I'm just gonna be saying it a lot more clearly because it's possible that this zero is gonna come up, but I don't think this zero is gonna come up as much as we think. I think that we're gonna see the same SOCs that we see in things, and now and then we're gonna see, some that'll throw us for a loop, but it'll throw us back to what I just said.
And so black hat thinking, let's take like professional partners, for example, and they're sitting in a meeting, they got 50 agents, and they say, from this point forth, if the property shows up at 1% commission, we are not gonna look at it.
Well,
That's
the
the kind of-
rule in here allows us, and Isaac will touch on it, and then we can do that, so.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I'm glad you said that because I was actually forgetting that I was going to say that. They did change the 1A, the listing agreement too, and they added a line at the bottom of the second paragraph of the 1A. It says,
Doesn't include the seller.
RCW 18.86.050 provides that buyers brokers are not required to show a property as to which there is no written agreement to pay compensation to the buyer's broker. And I've asked a lawyer about that too. I'm saying that's a little, what if there's 1 cent compensation? He said he'll get back to me, but he was saying that the point is you can choose, no, I'm not going to show that. There's no law against you saying I'm not going to show you that property. And we're not going to show that property because they're not offering fair compensation. So yeah, absolutely, you're absolutely allowed to say no, and that's not a breach of the law of real estate agencies.
And I don't know to answer your question, but we can't monopolize in this business between brokerages for commissions. I don't know that you can sit into an office meeting like this and state that this is how we're all going to do this. We're all independent, so I believe that you could probably talk about, here's my feeling on it, this is probably what I'm going to do, but you and Ken couldn't probably make a written agreement, is my feeling, without looking into that.
You couldn't have a written agreement. Absolutely you can't. That would be price fixing. Yeah, absolutely you can't do that.
Okay.
That's about it on this. There's a lot more that could be talked about, and I would encourage you to come talk about it. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I'm thinking we're gonna start a monthly mastermind too, where separate from the office meetings, kind of sit down here in the conference room. Anybody who wants to show up and just kind of talk about what we're dealing with, and iron sharpens iron, right? Go through situations like this.
What we can do, what I think Chad has said, and I've told Isaac this, I'm gonna repeat this, is that whether we do what he just said, us coming in, we're gonna do it anyways, because I've been doing this for years, and Ron and I, we've got all sorts of spreadsheets and menus that we've thought of, and anyways, the point is that we do need to really now dial in on what our services are worth and why, and so that when somebody wants to know, then we can give it to them. And we'll do some videos on it, and we'll put some clauses together, but yeah, it's a good idea, because it'll just help us sell.
If you're dealing with a buyer and you're nervous, how am I going to tell them I don't want to show them this home? Come talk with me. Come talk with Craig. Craig's been in business,
That can be part of support on a buyer's agreement too, to where it's like the reason for this is not the normal, what we're used to seeing, where, I work for you, but I get paid this way. But the buyer agreement says that if it's less than a certain percentage, then, and I don't show you this house and you end up buying it anyway, then I'm still gonna get something from that, for my effort.
Exactly. Which is fair, right?
But
It's
it's
hard to
like
explain.
added,
You get
it's-
paid for what you do,
Yeah.
I get paid for what I do. It's fair.
But if they sign the agreement, even if they posted the 0% on the selling side, it kind of contradicts that, or.
Yeah, this trumps,
Swaps it out.
if they sign a 1A that says they're gonna pay 0 selling office commission, but then they get a good offer that includes a selling office commission, that trumps the 1A. That's supersedes.
I mean, is this gonna start changing the listing meeting? In other words, I'm gonna meet with a seller, and I know that they're gonna meet with 2 other brokers, and we know that Redfin has come in and tried to steal everybody's show by saying, oh yeah, we'll list you at 1% if we can be your buyer's agent. Now, it could be 1% on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, it does a little bit, but ultimately, no, because why in the past haven't you listed a property with 2% selling office commission?
Because nobody'd look at it, right?
So what has changed? Nothing.
I understand all
I'm
those
sorry,
things.
that wasn't a dumb question. I was just saying it's the same script. It might come up more now, but I mean, if the seller says that to me, I'm going to say absolutely not, because I know plenty of buyers, agents who will deliberately try to avoid your listing. And is that what you want? Do you want to trip over 0.5% or 1% or 1.5% because you?
I
I mean, it's
understand. I
a-
mean,
Now
it's
we
just-
need a quarter of the
I
market
understand.
can actually
It's
show.
It's the same thing as the old for sale by owner reality, where
Yep, exactly.
How many people in here have done one dual agency in their career?
more than one, you mean, or just
One is one. How many people have done more than 5?
No, I think I've done 3.
Around 5.
Probably not more.
So if you haven't, if you gotta get to the level where you got 5, you gotta come to me, period.
In a whole career?
Yeah. Dual agency is a very, very serious thing, and I really doubt, and I don't have a meeting on this now, that any of you would know what to do with it. I'd say TJ and Rhonda might, but she came to me on it recently and had asked me, and it's like me pulling out a 22B when I haven't done a 22B in a while. I gotta sit down and read it. I'm not telling you I'm perfect, I'm just saying, let's not hop into that thing and get our lips moving too fast. Be careful, let's talk, and let's get you going in the right direction. First thing I can tell you is that we always have to give out the law of real estate agency regardless. This is before, during, and after. This is before. Everybody gets one of these. You should email them out too. You should have a copy of the Sky Slope showing that here at the date and time I sent this to them. They don't have to sign it. Whether it's representing a buyer only, a seller, or dual agency, that's gotta go out, okay? When we get into it, the dual agency information's in here, but you need to have an agreement with the buyer as a buyer's
Buyer's
agent
agency.
in writing before you engage in a purchase sale. You cannot check the box that you're gonna be a dual agent, okay? And we gotta talk about it or a lengthy degree when you get to it, because it's just the place that we can get sued. It's not worth it.
Dual agency.
It's not worth it. So I
I
just
just
wanna
wanna
say,
say-
do not just go out there and go, yeah, I can represent both parties without talking to me.
No, nothing's changed in the independent contractor agreement. It states that if you do dual agency, you have to notify the brokerage right away because it's high risk. Our L&I, I'm not discouraging you
E&O?
from doing. Yes, sorry. Our E&O goes up for every dual agency we do every year. And that's not to say you can't do it, but we have to be aware because we have to watch them more carefully, right? My brother in California is right now going through one where his broker, person who pumped their septic tank, and him, everyone's getting sued by the buyer dual agency. I mean, it happens. Like I saw a percentage one of the odds of a lawsuit in a dual agency sale as opposed to another. Anyways,
It's not worth it.
It's
To me, it's worth handing it off to TJ and saying, hey, you can give me 30% as a referral. It's not worth it.
It is. You better do it that way and
It's just creepy.
And you gotta tell, you need to seek legal counsel. In all aspects of our agreement, it says seek legal counsel. If you got any questions that I can't answer, seek an inspector, seek an accountant, whatever, all these things. But in this situation, it's like, go get an attorney. I'll just represent one side. I'm good. And when they say, no, I don't want you to, okay, well, 100% transparency then on everything. Everything in writing. Let's just end this meeting on that and know that let's just do a great job at it or don't do it at all. But we're gonna be forced into those situations from time to
It
time
doesn't come up like
on a
it
for
used
sale
to.
by
It
owner,
used to come
off
up.
market stuff. So what Rhonda's saying is someone comes to her on her listing, she'd rather refer that to me or TJ, which she did. And then the buyer never really ended up buying it anyways, which is fine. But truly, is it in our best interest to work with a dual agent if we weren't licensed and we went to the person on that sign? Is it in our best interest? Do you think that we're gonna get the best of negotiations out of that? Is there a chance that that person is dual agent is doing something for them to make money, more for them than they're actually able to service either one of those parties separately better than they would if they represented them individually? Impossible. I could tell people, hey, look, I'm Blackjack Book of Oil, I'm the guy at the Emerald Queen, and I'll tell you everything in the Book of Oil, but I can't tell you the next card. That's fair. Deal with a dual agency that way. But I guarantee you that I tell people, look, I can help both parties and facilitate this. But if I was to only represent you, then I could get into my feelings of what it's like to play out different negotiations through this thing as a buyer's agent or a seller's broker and do a better job for you. I know that. But in a dual agency, you're gonna put me in a situation and I'm just gonna go, well, the book of oil says this, I've seen people do that. Said, what about your feelings, Craig? Not going there. Because I might have seen their hand. And I'm just not getting into it. So I don't believe that you can do a better job as a dual agency. I think that we could be an outstanding servant and facilitator for people who've already come to price and terms, and that's fine. And I've done that. I did that with a neighboring house. It was my neighbor's house. He owned another house on the hill, 2 houses away. And I just told him, look, this is not a good situation, but if you all agree on its condition, your price, and all your abilities to do an inspection, you as a buyer and seller, you understand all this. You play cards. I'm here. I'm just not showing you the next card. We good? They said, yeah. Okay. Then I rolled with it. Was it still risky? Yeah. I felt the way I did it, but I didn't feel like I was doing either party the best service that I could do. So that's that.
told him not to get into dual agencies today.
I
I'm like,
knew
crap,
it.
we don't
I
have
felt
time.
it.
I knew it.
What do you think about it? Seth, go ahead.
Yeah, a couple of things. So, I've been consulted by real estate agents that are too far down the road in dual agency to find their way up. And what we can do at that point is send a letter that should have gone out 4 weeks ago and hope for the best.
Right.
And I guess.
And if they've gotten to you, there's a hot point,
There was
right?
actually even a septic issue that prompted that.
Mhm.
Yep.
Same story. Yeah. And what else? Let's see. So putting on, I guess, my hat as someone that buys a lot of real estate, I would say I used to seek out listing agents on FHA, Home Store, and Home Style Freddie Mac properties. Because I thought that by letting them, because we're negotiating as the government, who cares? And I just thought that would give them more incentive to give the deal to me, because I would be getting the whole commission. That's like one.
I
of the
think there's an
little
exception. If I'm an
exceptions.
investor, if I was to take my hat off tomorrow and have no affiliation with you guys, which wouldn't happen because I'd still go through, because I'm a servant person, I like to tip well to the people that are in the service industry and restaurants. I would like to give my money back to the people in real estate just like I made it. But if I wasn't that person and I wanted to be really just sharp and all about me, I take my hat off, not have a license, and I would call that sign call. Why is that? Because I've spent 20 years in the business. I feel confident I can do it. So that's going to tell you that you're going to have investors out there like Seth and other people where I get why they call the broker on the sign, because they feel like they have all the knowledge to be able to negotiate, do their inspections and all that. So that'll be the exception to the rule, and I think that makes sense. But if somebody doesn't have the competency by either being in real estate or construction or in law, they probably need to realize that they're not getting the best representation out of dual agent. But I definitely see investors do that, like I had just mentioned. Now, I will say though that anybody that has been out of the business for a little bit and doesn't know the forms and doesn't have a law degree, I would say that they probably should rethink that. 'Cause you can get crusty in this business.
99.99%
You can get crusty in this
buyers.
business in 1 year, as you can see with these form changes. You gotta stay on top of it.
Well, sorry we went over time, guys, but
Alright.
we're starting this month. We're doing a little drawing at the end of each one for everyone who makes it. This time it's a $50 gift card to Infinity Signs. So that covers pretty much a whole for sale sign or a couple open house signs. I don't know the exact pricing, but anyways, Craig, you want to pick one out?
Okay.
Oh, of course.
TJ.
The guys
Present
who
to win.
leave.
Got your present to win now.
TJ, congratulations. So he left early. Golly.